welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, I do a little bit of everything on this channel. So if you guys like that, hit subscribe down below. Now let's get started on today's video. So anyways, I am going to be talking to you guys, as you guys can see, about Haunting Adeline. Now, I didn't know if I was gonna like this book or not, but it's not bad. It's different. It's very different. So Haunting Adeline is a two-part series. I think the last book came out in 2021, so I don't know if there's ever going to be a third book, but I do have the second book and I'm going to read that, but I'm going to talk to you guys about part one of the book series. So this is by H.D. Carlton. She might go under different names as well, but yeah, this is the first part of this book, and the way I'm going to describe this story is going to be a two-parter because yeah, I'm going to describe it first as the storyline where it's Adeline, Zaid, Dea, and then I'm gonna put it into the different storyline where we talk about Gigi, Nana, Ronaldo, John, and then Frank, because I think that would be best on explaining it and just making it cohesive so that we're not all confused. So let's get started on the main storyline, which is Adeline, Zaid, and Dea. So we start out the storyline with Adeline, who is our main character, and everything is basically through her, and obviously Haunting Adeline, so Adeline's the main character. We see that she takes her grandmother's house, which is basically dilapidated and it's not nice at all, but she loves it so much because she spent so much time with her grandmother in there that she decided that she was going to live in this house as well, and so she starts living there. Her mom is like really against it. She thinks the house is ugly and that she should get rid of it, but Adeline does not want to do that one bit, so yeah, she's decided not to do that. Her Nana slept in the same room that her mother, which is Gigi, died in. So now Adeline is sleeping in the same bedroom as like where her great grandmother died, which I thought was very interesting. I think that was a little creepy. And they do make that a note or whatever. So yeah, we'll get into Gigi and how she ended up dead in the second storyline. So Adeline is now in this house. She's just like hearing things. She feels like there's ghosts in the house. And in the beginning of the book, I really thought like we were talking about like this interesting between dimensions of like a ghost, but in reality, he was just a stalker. So eventually she starts seeing these roses. She starts seeing like these cups that are drunken out of with whiskey in them, and like that they're drinking the whiskey that is in her house, and like they're doing it on purpose so that she can see that they're in her house. She starts calling the police and starts telling them like, you know, I have a stalker, blah 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 blah. So she starts calling these police people, and they like go like, okay, like you have a stalker. They don't even file her like complaints of a stalker being in her house, which is so annoying. My cats are really saying at 5 o'clock they're ready to brawl. They really are. I can't even get through this. But anyways, like I was saying. So moving on. She starts like getting these text messages also from the stalker from an unknown number stating like, oh, you know, don't be hanging out with these people or whatever, or don't bring that guy home or whatever like that. And one night she brings a guy over and she receives these text messages, and he's like threatening to basically show her what he's gonna do. And yeah, the guy ends up to be dead. And the stalker did it, and he also mails her the hands of the guy that is now dead. But also, to justify it in the book, we have to say that the guy is like, he's a DV person, you know, he's horrible, so he deserves to die. We have to justify every killing in the book, but let's be honest here. He did it because he was jealous, and that was basically it. The afterthought of that was because of this, but like the initial is because he's jealous, right? Like, okay. I just want y'all to know, because when I be seeing these stuff, I'm like, what? Okay, now the stalker's starting to be more bold. He starts to show up more. He starts to like actually see her, look at her. She's looking at him. She's finding him attractive, which I think is crazy. I don't get it. Well, they eventually, there seems to be like this back and forth, right? Because it's supposed to be a cat and mouse duet. Okay, so eventually there was a point in the book where like she's on the phone with him and he's on the phone with her, and it's like they're talking, and I just don't know how she even decided to pick up the phone and talk to him anyways. Like, why? If I knew that my stalker was texting me and calling me, I would never pick up the phone. I would just like not answer, and I would never pick up the phone, because then you're egging them on, which is what she did most of the book, which is crazy, okay? And he's like, oh, you're gonna fall in love with me, blah, blah, blah. That is crazy stuff, okay? I don't understand some of the things in the book. Now, we get to learn that this guy, his name is Zaid, okay? And a backstory of this guy, he's a vigilante, okay? He goes after the people that are like, you know, doing society wrong, which there's like some SA in there, some ST, stuff like that in this book. And he's like, I want to save all these girls because of this. And honestly, guys, I swear to you, in the beginning of the book, I was like, I get it. All right, I got it. I feel like after chapter 10, I was like, can we stop talking about it? How he's a savior, okay? How we justify his killing, because I can't justify it. I can't justify it. There's no justification, okay? And I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong no matter what. I don't care. But I understand that it's part of the storyline, so we just have to accept that it's part of the storyline. But personally, it's annoying. It's a lot. It's very annoying. Very annoying. All right, squeaks. Anyways, well, Zaid is also called Z, and he's in charge of this organization that kills all these people, okay? Sorry, not kills. He's in charge of this organization that unalives these people that do society wrong, okay? And he and her, like, I guess he really likes her. He thinks she's beautiful. And his biggest thing is that he stalks people for a living, so that's why he stalks her, because like it's just kind of bled into his love life, and so now he just stalks her. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is, okay? Eventually they start, you know, becoming intimate, and the first time was definitely something that was not very consensual, right? And I guess that's the whole point of this book, is like there's this, it's kind of consensual, but it's kind of not. And there was like a thing with a gun. Yeah, guys, like this book was taking me for a loop. Okay, I really had to stick with it, and I was like, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. I could do it. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. And so then this starts this like going back and forth, and then intimate scenes, and there's a lot of intimate scenes in this book. Okay, there's a scene with the belt. There's a scene in the woods. There's a scene in an amusement park. Like, there is a lot. And I mean, these scenes are pretty intricate and pretty detailed. And personally, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I try and tell myself that it's not that big of a deal, but it is. It is. And personally, I don't know how to digest this part of the story. Okay, so anyways, past all of that, looking past it, okay, the rest of the story is basically how her best friend is also like this, I guess, tech savvy person. She's trying to help with like the stalker and stuff, but that doesn't really happen. Anyways, she also works for Z, but she doesn't know that Z is the one that's stalking Adeline. There's this whole thing. So some of the main storyline is that, you know, they start getting intimate. He starts seeing her out in public. She starts seeing him out in public. Not that they're together, but that they just see each other in the public eye, okay? Well, they run into this guy. Well, he runs into this guy called Mark, who is like one of these evil people of society. And he's doing child sacrifices. And basically, he takes a liking to Adeline. Z then tries to claim her, I guess, and say like, you know, don't be trying to steal her away, because like she's mine. And Mark is like, oh, okay, delete the photo. Like, I won't overstep, but I want to meet her. So he goes over there and he meets her. And he tells her some of the things like that he knows. So apparently he knows Frank, which is his father, who was friends with her great-grandfather and great-grandmother, Gigi, who was dead. So there's that. And yeah, she gets interested. He invites them to a ball, like really like encourages them to come to a ball. They both come to this ball. They, you know, I guess do a little dance. They also do something in the theater over there. I have no idea why. I don't really understand that part. And yeah, I feel like I'm not explaining that very well, but it does lead into something, because Mark is not the only person doing these child sacrifices. It is a group of them. And so Zaid is trying to integrate into this group so he can figure out who everyone is, so that he can figure out, like, I guess, how to take them down, right? So he does that. He is able to integrate into this group so that he can start, you know, knocking these people down so that they can stop doing these child sacrifices. But in the way, he's saving people also at the same time. Well, at the end of the book, something happens where they end up killing Mark. Like, Mark's unalived, okay? He's gone. But there's other players in the game, right? So there was one bust that they were able to do, but there was other people that still needed to be busted. Well, one of the people was able to capture Adeline and basically steal her away. And so now at the end of the book, we're like, Adeline has been stolen and Z is out of his damn mind because he's trying to find his lover, his one true love, okay? Yeah. I feel like that was a hot mess, but it's part of the storyline, okay? But that's literally what it is, okay? They stole her away. I don't understand why it took him so long to get the people and why he couldn't just knock them down right there. It just wasn't making any sense to me. But apparently, like, it is what it is, right? I'm sorry if y'all are hearing my cats in the background eating. This is the time. This is the time to do my work, and they're eating. They gotta do what they gotta do. All right, so now we're gonna rewind, okay? Rewind to the beginning. So Adeline moves into this house that was her great-grandparents' house, and then her grandparents' house, and then it is now hers, right? So we learn about Gigi, who died in the house. She was unfortunately unalived, okay? And her Nana lived in this house afterwards, you know, by herself, basically. Well, continuing that, Adeline found Gigi's diary, and she learns in this diary that Gigi was having an affair. So Gigi was married to John, but she was having an affair with like a stalker. Like, he was basically stalking her. He was like not talking to her, just like staring at her. We come to find out that this guy, his name is Ronaldo, and that he's a part of a pretty scary, sketchy group, which is basically the mafia, okay? And John, her husband, is a gambler. He's like addicted to gambling, and he started working for this mafia too because he has to pay back this debt, right? Well, Ronaldo was really the one who saved John and was like, no, you know, I think he can pay back his dues instead of you killing him or unaliving him because he didn't pay his, you know, the stuff that he owes. So Ronaldo saved John, but Ronaldo is having an affair with John's wife. Yeah, okay. During this time, Nana, okay, is like 15 years old. And this is important for later on in the story, okay? So Gigi's having this affair with Ronaldo. Her marriage with John is falling apart. John is a drinker. Gigi is just like not having it. She doesn't want to fix the relationship, okay? But Frank is John's best friend, right? Right. So every time they have a get-together, like, she's having an issue with John, who does she call? She calls Frank, because she knows that Frank is John's best friend. Well, come to find out, we're trying to figure out who has unfortunately unalived Adeline's like great-grandmother. Adeline thinks that it was the stalker, Ronaldo, but she later learns that Frank possibly had a crush on her Gigi, and she like didn't maybe reciprocate these feelings because she was having this affair with Ronaldo, and Frank found out and was like, you need to stop having this affair with Ronaldo. But she was like, I'm not gonna stop, and that upset him even more, which is crazy because that is your best friend's wife. That's even worse on your part. Worse on your part. What the frick? Okay, well, there was also a letter in the attic that says that they're trying to hide this thing, and she was trying to figure out who wrote this letter. She assumed that it was Gigi, right? That the letter basically said that I had helped kill her, which is referring to Gigi. But for some reason, Adeline assumed that this letter was written by Gigi, but it wasn't, okay? We later find out once these, like, I guess Adeline's best friend Daya took these letters and they did like a handwriting forensic. Adeline starts realizing that her Nana used to always go up in the attic all the time and hang up there. just like hang out, I guess, like do whatever she does up there. Well, there was a watch there, and they took that into forensic as well, and they learned that the watch that had blood on it was owned by Frank. Yeah. So we learned that Frank is probably the person who unalived Gigi, but that Nana was the person who helped Frank cover it up. Girl, I was like, okay. See, this is the storyline that I would have been invested in. I was invested in that storyline. I was like, I gotta know who did it. I gotta know who did it. Because this ain't adding up. This ain't adding up. I was thinking maybe it was a husband, but then I was like, nah, he was too much of a fool, you know? And then you learn, I'm like, yeah, this storyline, I would have enjoyed this as a Chris storyline. Because it was good. It was good. Anyways, the whole point of this whole storyline is to entail that, you know, Gigi's stalker did not unalive her, which in turn makes Adeline realize that, like, her stalker probably does really care for her, and she understands where Gigi was coming from with falling in love with her stalker, which at the end of the day is still crazy. It is still crazy. There's nothing to justify it. It's still crazy. Still crazy. Anyways, yeah, I hope that explains this book a little bit and what's going on there. My personal review is, if you like stuff like that, dark romances, then this is the book for you. Part 2 is a bit bigger than this, and I will be reading it hopefully starting today. But yeah, I think that this was pretty interesting. I don't mind it, but some of the stuff I do mind. Some of the stuff I'm like, oh, it's a little cheesy, it's a little much, but I love a little cheesy and I love a little hot mess, and this was definitely a hot mess. It was definitely so messy that I loved it. So yeah, if you guys loved this review and you want to see more, then hit subscribe down below. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye. All right, squeaks, say bye. Say bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm gonna watch some